ago. He is now in the East, and he has said Kenya is the home of mankind. You all are welcome.
Yeah.
Are we, back to the, initial conversation you were talking about. Moi looked west and then, he was disappointed. Kibaki came in and he looked east. Uhuru seemed to be playing a balance. When you look at President Ruto's strategy, and in terms of, the famous looking east or west, or north or south, where are we looking?
Thank you. Before I answer your question,
yes,
let me just throw a punch on his last point. Very good one, and I am actually just more or less supporting him by saying that by promoting our stuff out there, the president ought to have started by going to the US using KQ. Yes. Yeah, so that fly Kenya, made in Kenya, it's Kenyan affair. Yeah, so right. Our brand, international image out there. Now back to your question.
Yes.
What is happening right now, President Ruto is using a balancing act. By balancing act here is, I feel it's a very good thing to have as many friends as you can in the international system, because each and every friend in the international system has got something to offer. And you too, you can always find an opportunity or even create new markets in that territory that you might have considered terra nullius, that there was nothing there. You can go and create something in it. So I feel like that balancing act, if you look at President Ruto where he stands, is, while our foreign policy document talks of us being non-aligned, that is, we are only cooperating mutually based on interest. But to a larger perspective, if you observe President William Ruto, is more or less aligned himself towards the West. And I recall in one of the interviews, I don't recall the channel very well, or the media house, but I remember him being asked whether we are facing West or facing East, but then he responded affirmatively that we are neither facing East nor West, but rather facing forward. By facing forward here, I tend to think and believe that the president meant that the country's interest supersedes whether facing East or facing West. So what should be controlling or rather guiding our foreign policy here is basically our national what? National interest. And therefore the balancing act here is, if you look at President Ruto today in Seoul, Korea, South Korea is more close to the Western allies as compared to the East. Geographically, the country is in Asian continent, yes, in the Far East. But ideologically, economically, politically, it aligns itself most of the time with the Western friends. Italy, the same, that President William Ruto is to visit in a couple of days from today. A few days ago, the president was in the US. This is still the West. So if you look at president, but then at the same time, there's no single place where we've been told that the president has renounced Kenya's neighborliness and close ties, diplomatic ties with the East, like China, Brazil, India, and many more. So what is coming up here is, in a multiplex world order, in an international system whereby we've got different powerhouses playing within the so-called international system, it means you have more or less to have a balance.